Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clay, and I am the Bucks believer. The trade deadline was last week, and after that date, we usually start to see a flurry of moves on the buyout market. That has already begun with LaMarcus Aldridge signing with the Brooklyn Nets, Andre Drummond signing with the Los Angeles Lakers, and Gorgui Dieng signing with the San Antonio Spurs. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some candidates that the Bucks could target on the buyout market and ranking them in the order in which I would like to see the Bucks sign them. Let's start out with my top guy that could potentially be bought out by his current team, and that is Otto Porter. Porter is on a pretty expensive contract right now, so there's a chance that he doesn't want to give money back to the Magic, but if the two sides can work out a deal to have Porter bought out, he could really help the Bucks out in a big way. In 25 games so far this season with Chicago, he averaged 9.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, and shot 40% from the three-point line. He's exactly the kind of player that the Bucks could use coming off the bench as a switchable wing defender who can knock down threes both off of movement and off of catch-and-shoot opportunities. He does overlap a little bit with some other players on the roster like Pat Connaughton and PJ Tucker, but you can never have too many 3-and-D wings that can help your team out in a big way. I think Porter would be a great grab for the Bucks if he's available, and he is the top guy that I would candidate if I were general manager John Horst. My second option for the Bucks is Cory Joseph. With DJ Augustin being included in the PJ Tucker trade earlier this month, it opened up a bit of a hole at the backup point guard position, and I think that Joseph could fill in that hole very, very well. In 46 games this season with Sacramento, Cory Joseph averaged 6.7 points and 2.5 assists, and he also has championship experience as he was on the Spurs team that won it all in 2014. Joseph is a solid defender at the backup point guard position. Despite his small frame and short height, he's still able to do a great job in defending at the point of attack, and on offense, he's a good role player who's a viable shooter and can also run some pick and roll against opposing bench units. So, while Joseph isn't a ceiling raiser by any stretch, he is someone that could give the Bucks good minutes at the backup point guard position and would definitely be a player that I would consider. My third option is Kelly Olynyk. Olynyk would be able to be a strong candidate to be the Bucks' backup center if he were bought out by the Houston Rockets. In 44 games this season with the Miami Heat, he averaged 10.2 points and 6 rebounds per game. Olynyk is a high-level shooter. He's up around 36% from beyond the arc over his career, and he is also a solid defensive player who isn't a complete loss when he's forced to guard against smaller perimeter players in space, and it also has a great knack for taking charges. Olynyk was on a Heat team that made a run all the way to the NBA Finals last season, and I think that he could really help the Bucks out by playing a role similar to Brook Lopez off of the bench for the squad. Olynyk is my third candidate here, and I would love to see the Bucks grab him if he became available. My next player on this list is Austin Rivers. In 21 games this season with the New York Knicks, Rivers has averaged 7.3 points and shot 36.4% from beyond the arc. Austin is a solid ball handler who's pretty good with the ball in hand and has some ability to run pick and rolls and score off of those opportunities. He's also an okay passer, although he's not nearly the level of playmaker that a DJ Augustin or a Cory Joseph would be as the Bucks' backup point guard. However, Rivers is a better shooter than Joseph, and so in that area he would be an improvement. He also has some solid size for the point guard position as he's 6'4" and weighs 200 pounds. So as the Bucks continue to switch more and more screening actions on defense, Rivers would be able to hang in there because of his solid size. So Austin Rivers is a solid candidate and someone that I would love to see the Bucks pick up if he were to become available. The fifth guy on my list is Mike Muscala. In 35 games this season with Oklahoma City, Muscala has averaged 9.7 points, 3.8 rebounds, and shot 37% from the three-point line. In a very similar vein to what Olynyk would bring to the Bucks, Muscala would be a solid target to bring in as our backup center. He could space the floor out in lineups that featured Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton, and he's also a capable defensive player, although he's not nearly as good as someone like Brook Lopez, so he obviously wouldn't be someone who would be stealing minutes away from Brook, but he is capable and would be an interesting option for the Bucks to bring in to fill in that backup center role. It would allow Bobby Portis to play the 4 a bit, which is a position I think he's better suited to play on the defensive end of the court. So Muscala is an interesting choice. My 6th and final option for the Bucks on the buyout market is Wayne Ellington. Ellington is certainly a better player than a lot of the other guys I have ranked above him. He just has some overlap in terms of skill set with Bryn Forbes, who is already on the Bucks roster. In 33 games this season with Detroit, Ellington has averaged 10.8 points and shot 42.9% from the three-point line. Like I said, his ability to be a movement shooter from beyond the arc from a guard position off the bench is very similar to what Forbes has brought to the Bucks. However, I think Ellington would be a slight upgrade over Forbes, and he could also play alongside Bryn, with the 2 players being featured at the 1 and the 2 in bench units, where Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, or Giannis Antetokounmpo could be slotted alongside them as a primary ball handler. Ellington is an interesting choice to bring in for the Bucks, especially because, as I might have said already, you can never have too many shooters. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Bucks' potential buyout candidates are in the comment section down below. Who do you think the best idea for them to sign would be, assuming that that guy becomes available? Some other players that I considered putting here are Avery Bradley and Jeff Teague, but for various reasons I decided to leave them off the list. Teague has really struggled with Boston this season, other than when he plays the Bucks, when he all of a sudden starts lighting it up from 3. And Avery Bradley is on a contract that I'm not sure he'll be willing to be bought out, as he is a player option for next season. So I decided to leave those 2 guys off. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, especially if you are a Bucks believer like me. This is the place for you. I think that that's going to be everything that I wanted to cover, so that's going to be it for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you all again very soon.